Hey, everybody, welcome to the Citizen Sports Weekly, a Shearless edition. He's on vacation. We're here. I'm, of course, Robert Harding, joined by Justin Ritzel. Quite the dynamic duo this week. Justin, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Just to be clear, whenever I miss the show on the rare occasion, Chris is quick to point out that Justin is on assignment. So just to be clear, Chris is absolutely not on assignment. He's kicking his feet up, doing God knows what, probably sipping on an orange juice or something. He's on vacation, and hopefully he's enjoying it. I hear he went to the zoo. He managed to not get mauled by a lion or a bear, so we can all be thankful for that, I guess.
Yeah. He probably obeyed those signs that tell you where to keep your hands and not stick your nose or whatever. So glad he made it home safe with all his limbs. So let's get right into it. Got a few items on the agenda this week. Chris usually handles this, but rarely reads the emails. So fortunately, yours truly, who sends out these emails every week, has the details for you. Leading off this week, the news about Auburn native Tim Locastro being traded to the New York Yankees, and just throwing this question out there. And Justin, let's start the discussion here. What do you think this means for Locastro? And what do you think it means for the Yankees, just given their situation and how he might help them, kind of get back into contention here after their recent slide?
Well, I think you could tell with Tim's kind of some of the interviews he's done, and I'm sure you can speak to this having talked to him on the phone the day of the trade, but you can really get a sense of his excitement to be joining the Yankees for, I'm sure, several reasons. I mean, he's made it pretty clear, and you've reported this, in your conversations with him, that he was a huge Yankees fan growing up, being from Auburn, went to games as a kid. I can't remember exactly which. He was doing some interviews, I think, on Yes Network, and he said like how he was at one of their big playoff games where Raul Ibanez hit a big home run. So he bleeds pinstripes, and I know a lot of Yankees fans are obviously not happy with where the team is right now. They're kind of hanging around 500, but without question, they're in a better situation than the Diamondbacks are this year. So not only does he get a chance to live out his dream and play for the New York Yankees, but he gets to play for a team that I think will be in the mix by the end of the year. They're not kind of dead in the water like Arizona was. So I'm not gonna speak for Tim. I'm sure he's grateful that the Diamondbacks gave him his first opportunity really to kind of be a semi-regular major leaguer, and now he gets a new opportunity with the Yankees, who need the help. And hopefully the Yankees will realize that his speed is a huge asset, his defense is a huge asset, and they start using him more instead of trotting out Brett Gardner, who should have retired 5 years ago. So we'll see, but obviously an exciting development, and we'll see where it goes. I would ask you, kind of, when you spoke to him on Thursday, kind of what sense you got from him and his excitement, and what he thinks he can help the Yankees achieve this year.
Yeah. It was interesting because when you think of someone getting traded, you almost think of it in a negative sense. Oh, this team didn't want him anymore, or didn't want this player anymore, and they're giving them to this other team. But it wasn't like that with him. He was genuinely appreciative of the Diamondbacks because remember, going back to 2018 and into early 2019. The Dodgers traded him to the Yankees, and then the Yankees traded him to the Diamondbacks. So it was the Diamondbacks that gave him, a legitimate opportunity to play in the majors, and that's how we got where we are today with, his various attributes. His speed, of course. Stealing bases, getting hit by pitches. He really made a name for himself in the desert, and I think just judging by some of the fan reaction there, they're going to miss him because he was just one of those players. I know I'm sure there's guys, you root for the Packers and the Angels and the Ducks. I've been Buffalo sports fan over the years. I root for the Nationals. There's guys that aren't the big stars that you just love because of the different things that they bring to the table. And he was one of those guys in Arizona and New York, the Yankees specifically, of course. Hope he'll bring that to their team. So he was excited. This is the team he rooted for growing up. So I mean, just think of what that means. I mean, we all had teams that we rooted for growing up, and if we were ever lucky to make the professional ranks in that sport, you'd love to play for that team, and so that to fulfill that kind of boyhood wish is kind of cool to see, and that's definitely an exciting thing for him. But yeah, to your point about the Yankees, they need the speed. This team before they acquired Locastro ranked dead last in the majors in stolen bases. You look at a lot of the guys on this roster, and there are a lot of power guys. Aaron Judge, even though he did steal a base last night, I think that was his first of the season. Bigger guy, hits for power. Giancarlo Stanton, of course. Gary Sanchez. These are guys that swing for the fences. And so to bring in a guy like Locastro, who, when he's, he did struggle a bit in Arizona. He got hurt. I think it's taken some time for him to kind of get back in the swing of things after that injury. And it didn't help that, he didn't get a whole lot of opportunities to start. He, in the last month and a half or so, I think that kind of took him out of the flow. And when you're only pinch hitting, it's tough to get back into the routine of things. But I think with the Yankees, he is going to get opportunities. He started last night, got a hit, scored a couple runs. That's what they want from him. Find a way to contribute, on defense, on the base pass, chip in with a hit or two, get on base. If he does all that, he could be a Yankee for a long time, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
So with that, let's keep talking baseball. Your pal, Shohei Ohtani, we've talked about, this is going to become the Shohei show, I think, because we've talked about Ohtani for a couple weeks now. But, different twist this week because he's planning to hit and pitch in the AllStar Game, showcasing his rare two-way talent for all the world to see. And of course, in addition to all this, he's going to be participating in the home run derby, and he's certainly one of the top competitors in that. So do you think that the All-Star Game is a little bit more interesting this year with Shohei, obviously going out there, showing what he can do at the plate, and also getting in maybe an inning of work as a pitcher?
I think I should be careful what I say about Ohtani because last week all I did was say that a great outing for him in New York City and Yankee Stadium would be great for baseball, and he didn't even last an inning. So I want to be a little cautious on how much I talk about him. But no, seriously, if you're Major League Baseball or you're Kevin Cash who's managing the American League, like I think you lean into Ohtani as much as you can. I would not only start him in the All-Star Game as a pitcher, I'd lead him off. Get him out there in the first inning against, I think the NL is going to be the home team. So he would be the leadoff batter of the game for the Road American League. And you get him out there against Jacob deGrom. And then maybe he pitches against, whoever the top three guys in the order are for the American League. That would be huge for baseball just to get him out there and see him on that stage and see what he can do against the best of the world, not only at the plate, but from the mound. I think you just got to ride this Ohtani wave as far as it goes, whether that's through the rest of the season. Hopefully it continues for a long time and he puts together a Hall of Fame career. I know that's what I'm hoping for as an Angels fan. But yeah, why not? Like I don't want to like be hyperbolic or whatever, but he is kind of saving professional baseball right now. Like the amount of interest that you're seeing in him from, I said this last week, from people who do not play baseball, do not cover baseball. It's astounding. Everyone is talking about this guy. He is a marketing machine even for your boy Rob Manfred, who doesn't really know what he's doing, as you're always quick to point out in that respect. So ride the wave. Let's see it. I do want to push back on a comment that I saw. It was literally like an hour ago from Brian Kenny, who works for MLB Network. And, Ohtani pitched last night against the Red Sox. And was he electric? No, I think he only had 4 or 5 strikeouts. He really only went to, 97, 98 miles per hour on his fastball, maybe a few times when he really needed it. He wasn't electric in the sense that we've come to expect. And he really hasn't been for the last 4, 5, 6 starts. But he is becoming a pitcher where he doesn't want to use, maximum effort from the first inning on. He's picking his spots, and he's developing and understanding how to approach the major leagues as a pitcher. And it's been a great development to see. But Brian Kenny is arguing that Ohtani is not as electric as he has been. So the Angels should revert him back to a full-time hitter and do away with the pitching stuff, because he's limiting himself as a pitcher, or he's limiting himself as a hitter. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, you want to turn Ohtani into, yes, I'm sure he would be a great slugger if he was a hitter full time, but you want to limit him to that when he's saving the game or he's generating all this interest in Major League Baseball because of the transcendent season he's having? I say absolutely not. You see how far this can go. And, hey, maybe he does get hurt at some point, but at least you gave it a shot to do something that we've literally never seen. Like, I think people are comparing him to Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth never did this. Babe Ruth, when he was a pitcher, did not hit like this. Yeah. So you're seeing something that has not been done even since before Babe Ruth, which I don't think a lot of people are really understanding. So I say ride it as far as it can go. Start him as a pitcher in the All-Star game, and then have him lead off and continue to grow that Ohtani marketing campaign, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the big thing with the All-Star game, is really getting him in front of more eyes. Baseball fans tend to watch the All-Star game, so this is an opportunity for them to really see him, in the limelight. Obviously he plays on the West Coast. That can be to his detriment from a marketing perspective, because of course they play later, and so not enough eyes, I think, see what this guy can bring. That's what was so great about him. At least going to Yankee Stadium last week and hitting those bombs. Yeah, he didn't perform as well on the mound, but at least a lot more people were exposed to it in that way, and there was a lot more respect for his game, I think, because more people are getting around to this. But yeah, it's a great opportunity for him, and it's a great opportunity for baseball to showcase again a rare talent, a guy, to your point, who's often compared to Babe Ruth because of that obvious connection, of their skills there, but who's doing it better than Babe Ruth was when he was doing what he was doing on the mound. So, it's just incredible stuff. I'm looking forward to the All-Star game, especially it being in Colorado. That should turn into a home run derby on Tuesday after the home run derby on Monday, I think. So we could be in for a fun one, but definitely looking forward to Ohtani showcasing his talents there.
I will say this, Robert, before we move on, just a quick thing. It's been bothering me ever since, and this is not something you said. Maybe you hinted at it just now a little bit, but something that really bothered me, that a lot of Yankees fans on Twitter, I know a lot of them like to run their mouths, that Ohtani was A, scared to come to New York, and B, that him playing for the Angels is a wasted opportunity from a marketing standpoint. And I would say certain players, and I think he is capable of this, it does not matter what market they play in. I look at Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. played in Seattle. Is that a traditional baseball market? No, but didn't stop him from becoming the biggest, one of the biggest stars in professional sports during his time there during the 90s. So, and I'll just say this, because there's this weird hubris with Yankees fans and to a lesser extent, Red Sox and Dodgers fans. And this is really a recent development with the Red Sox since they, have won their 4 World Series these last 20 years. But just understand that you don't have a right to have every great player. Like, it's okay if not every player wants to play for the Yankees, So don't just assume Ohtani, he's a waste because he didn't want to come play for the Yankees, because they pursued him. They wanted him bad. He chose to go somewhere else. His career isn't wasted or ruined because he's not a Yankee. Believe it or not, it is good for baseball when great players choose to play elsewhere. And that goes for the Yankees, and that goes for the Red Sox, that goes for the Dodgers. It's okay when a quote-unquote smaller market team, which the Angels are not really a small market team, but I digress. It's okay when a great player goes and plays for teams like that. The Yankees and Dodgers and Red Sox do not have to hoard every good player that comes into the majors.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And, I think, parity is good for sports. And in this case, it's nice to have, superstar athletes who, aren't going to just, getting sucked up by these baseball clubs that are willing to spend a lot of money. It's good to see, quite frankly. To wrap things up, the NBA Finals started last night. The Suns took Game 1. Yes, we're doing this video on Wednesday, so things have already got underway. But we'll still offer our predictions for the NBA Finals. Ritz, how do you think this is going to go? Obviously, the Suns have a game in hand as we chat about this. But do you think the Suns will take it, or do you think the Bucks will get back into this and end up winning the series?
Well, I don't have a dog in this fight. It's actually, I really haven't paid attention much to the NBA this season. We talked a few weeks ago about, the Brooklyn Nets when they got knocked out, and if that was good or bad for basketball. And, I've kind of, to be honest, lost interest in the NBA over the last few years, because it's just not like, I don't know how you can be a fan of a team when your star player is in jeopardy of leaving really at a moment's notice. That's kind of what happened if you're a Houston Rockets fan. James Harden was your MVP star player 1 week, and the next week he didn't want to play there, and he got fat and just got out of shape, and he was done, and he kind of forced his way out of there to Brooklyn. So it's just, the NBA has become kind of a tough sport to be a fan of a team. I guess if you're, a LeBron James fan, you don't care. You just want to watch him. You don't care if he plays for the Lakers or the Cavs or Miami. It doesn't matter. But in terms of this NBA final, I think the Bucks are fighting a bit of an uphill battle, because their MVP is battling a knee injury. And Giannis played last night in Game 1. He didn't play the end of the Eastern Conference Final because of a hyperextended knee. Came back for Game 1. He looked solid. He didn't look too worse for wear, but I think as the series goes on and the pressure builds a little bit, and they have a lot more plays where they need to go to him and really test him a little bit. I think he's at risk of wearing down a little bit. And the Bucks are not they're not one of these star-studded teams. They got one of the Lopez brothers on the team who's kind of a role player, and Chris Middleton's a solid kind of number 2 option, averages about 20 points a game throughout his career. But they're not like LeBron and Anthony Davis kind of star power. So, and really neither are the Suns. It's kind of refreshing to not have a LeBron-led team in the finals, or like a dynasty Warriors team. But that's all to say, I think the Suns are going to win it. I think this is Chris Paul's time. Everything's kind of worked out in his favor so far this postseason, and well overdue if he happens to capture this championship. He's been through a lot, been on a lot of teams that were good but not good enough. So this it just feels like it's his time, that this postseason belongs to him, and I think the Suns will probably win this and 6 games, I would predict.
Yeah, I think to your point, it is refreshing that the teams that made it to the finals aren't really these recent, super team powers that we've seen. Obviously, Brooklyn. We talked about this on a recent video that Brooklyn was considered the favorite because obviously they stockpiled stars. They have Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, obviously, and everybody thought that they would just walk away with this, and they didn't even make it to the final. So it is refreshing to see the Bucks, with Giannis there, one of the game's biggest stars, but he's with them, and he's really grown with them, and I think that's significant. And then on the other side with the Suns, you have Devin Booker, and he's become one of the game's great players, and of course Chris Paul. He's kind of bounced around. There was this. I remember last year it was like, he ends up with the Thunder, and people thought like, oh, no one wants this guy, and he ends up with the Thunder. The Thunder aren't going anywhere, and they surprised people, and Chris Paul was leading the way there, and here he is with the Suns, doing a similar thing, if not better. So yeah, I'm going with the Suns here. I think Giannis with the knee injury that he has. He certainly showed that, he fought through it. He had a double last night. I think he put up like 20 points. That's solid, but I think it's going to be tough for the Bucks to win if he doesn't have that same step, that same advantage on the opposing team. And this is a series that if he was healthy, I could see the Bucks front court really getting in, overpowering the Suns because they have a bit of an advantage there. But the Chris Paul, Devin Booker duo in the Suns backcourt, I think that's going to be the story of the series. I'm going to take them to win in 5 games. I think that the Suns, are just too much at this point. They've put it all together, and I think they'll win the NBA title at the end of it.
The poor state of Wisconsin, the eternal bridesmaid ever since the Packers won the Super Bowl in 2010. It's just the story of that state. Close, but no cigar. Can't wait for the Brewers, who are currently leading the NL Central, to suffer probably a similar fate. They'll probably get bounced in the divisional round. That poor state. But hey, we'd be remiss not to mention the fact that finally, we got to witness Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady play in a semi-individual sport. They were on teams, but it's pretty clear, as I predicted when this event got announced, the match, it's pretty clear, and has always been clear to me, who the better athlete is between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And I think that showed itself yesterday. You could make the case, Robert, I don't know if you watched the match yesterday. I watched it.
I did. Yeah.
Rodgers outplayed his professional partner. At one point they used it was kind of an alternating shot format, kind of a weird scramble format. But they were using Rodgers' tee shot at least half the time. And that's kind of the strength in DeChambeau's game is he was expected to, especially with the elevation there in Montana, to be hitting these 500-yard drives, and he couldn't keep it on the fairway half the time. So they had to use Rodgers' tee shots and great putts. So yeah, I just had to throw that out there. It'd be irresponsible for me as a Packers fan, first and foremost, and obviously an Aaron Rodgers fan, to not point out the superior quarterback is also the superior golfer.
Yeah. It was entertaining watching the greatest quarterback in NFL history and Tom Brady play golf yesterday. I did enjoy the match. Phil's always entertaining. We got to see a different side of Bryson as well. I think that he maybe won some fans after yesterday. Aside from obviously the quirks that come with that, I think it's different when Phil does it. it's because of his age. I think that, he puts a lot of thought into this process. When Bryson does it, he comes across as a mad scientist, and it just doesn't work with him. But I think that there were some light moments involving Bryson. I would love to see Brooks Koepka do this, not even against Bryson, just do the event one time, because I think that guy is sneaky entertaining. He doesn't come across as a really outgoing guy, but I think he can pour it on in an event like this. I think that we're missing out on the Brooks Koepka experience. Hopefully they make that happen soon.
Well, the thing, I think I know they've done a few of these, and really I hadn't heard about this until they did the one last year with Brady and Mickelson against Tiger and Peyton Manning. And I think you need certain kind of personalities from your participants for this event to really catch on with people. Like Phil Mickelson's great for it because he's chatty, and he's got this nice guy approach. He's asking DeChambeau all these questions about his approach, and you can't really tell if he's genuinely asking because he's interested or he just wants to make him kind of look like an ass, which if that's what he was trying to do, he succeeded. And then, Tom Brady, he's kind of dorky, but he's talking his lame smack talk, and I think I'm playing against the Packers quarterback next year, but I'm not really sure, He's a good sport about it, and it's nice to see him, shank his tee shots, I might add. And then Rodgers, he's kind of that dry humor, kind of a dick, but entertaining, And then DeChambeau is just kind of like, he's just the guy who's, I think, not comfortable quite in front of a camera. He's taken it a little too seriously. He's not outgoing. He's not really in on the joke, so to speak. So, and then he wasn't really performing that great either for his typical standards. So I don't think he's really cut out for this kind of event. The thing with like Tiger Woods, I think Tiger, maybe in these younger years, same thing, probably isn't like the personality that you need for this kind of event, but he's relaxed in his more, elder years, we'll say. And he's Tiger Woods. So obviously people are drawn to him because of that, because of who he is. DeChambeau's not quite there, not even close, really. I don't think he's got the personality for this kind of thing. So I would love to see Koepka in there too, just because I think he's a lot like Rodgers, like kind of dry sense of humor, maybe doesn't appear as outgoing on the surface, but you get him over the course of 18 and he'll have some zingers, I think. So we'll see. I think there's a lot of fun combos out there, and maybe this is something we can talk about in the future, future potential participants. But I enjoyed it, and I couldn't let this show end without bringing up the fact that Rodgers beat Brady in an individual sport.
Yeah, that was fun to watch, especially Rodgers sinking the putt to win the match. That was certainly the cherry on top, if you will.
Yeah, you let him go for it, and it's amazing what happens.
Perfect note to end on there. Ritz, always good to be with you on the video. Again, Chris didn't join us this week. He is on vacation. It is officially the summer of Shira. If it's July, it means that Shira is more than likely dipping his toes in Owasco Lake than dipping his head into this video. So we will gladly carry on without him. But he'll be back next week, and we'll keep this thing going. Again, thanks to everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video with the dynamic duo. We'll be back with a 3-man team next week.